All right, everybody. Have a new YouTube video for you guys today, and today I'm going to talk about the de minimis safe harbor election. And you're probably like, what the heck is that? Well, before I explain, if you're getting value out of my videos, there are 4 simple things I want you to do. Number 1, like the video. Number 2, subscribe to the channel. Number 3, share it with your friends. And then lastly, hit the bell so you get alerted when I release new video content. So what I want to talk about is, and I'm going to write it down, de minimis safe harbor. This applies if you have a business. Now, this could be any type of business. This could be, a side hustle, or you're full-time in your business. This rule applies. It does not apply if you don't have a business. So we want to focus just on the business. So what is it? So what it allows you to do, the little eraser's a little bad here. Oh my gosh, what's going on with this? All right, that was a lot. All right, so what it allows you to oh my gosh, I'm terrible today. Can't spell. So this allows you to write off $2,500 of expenses per item. So what this means is before what you had to do, is let's say you bought a $2,000 computer. So let's say you bought a $2,000 computer. What you had to do with that $2,000 computer is you either depreciated it, or you could take a Section 179 deduction, which a Section 179 deduction allows you to expense certain qualified assets, this being one of them. Now, the problem is when you depreciate it, sure, you could take what we call bonus depreciation and write off the full amount, but that law is only as good as long as Congress doesn't change it, and it's scheduled to start gradually going away in the upcoming years. Now, do I think that'll happen? Probably not. They'll probably renew it because they want to stimulate the economy. But what you have to remember is what they're trying to do is if you have a computer, normally you depreciate it over 5 years. And unless you decide to take the 179 and expense it all, or depreciate it and take a bonus amount, you're limited in how you could treat that. And so what's happening is a lot of people had smaller items like cell phones and stuff like that they were having to do this with. And again, here's another interesting thing is you run into a problem with state taxes because a lot of states do not allow you, or they limit your bonus depreciation, or they limit your Section 179 deduction. So they limit how much you can take on these amounts. And so and it's also, you have to track that. You have to track that asset as, in your depreciation schedules, so on and so forth. And so what the IRS did is they said, okay, we're going to make it where if you elect it on your return, you have to elect this on your return. I cannot say that enough. There should be a box. Even TurboTax has it where you can list out the assets that this would apply to, and then you can check a box. And so when you e-file the return, or when you look at the paper return, it will have literally a page that will say, I'm electing to make a de minimis safe harbor election. You want to have that in there. And so what it allows you to do is, this $2,000 computer, I could itemize it as an expense. I can just expense it. And you can do that as long as the item itself costs less than $2,500 per item. So you can have a computer that's $2,000, expense that. You can have a phone that's $1,000, expense that. Now, when I say this, you have to use it for your business. You can't just be using your personal phone and stuff and all that. Like, these need to be legitimate business purchases, legitimate business expenses. And so what's great is those expenses will carry to your state return. And what's great about that is there's no worry about, oh, well, I can take this extra depreciation for tax purpose, for federal tax purposes, but maybe California won't let me do that. You don't have to worry about that. You can literally just write it off this way with the de minimis safe harbor election. And so you want to make sure that you file that. And so now the question becomes, well, how do I show this on my return? Do I show these expenses on my return? Because now if you're going to do this, now you have to figure out, okay, well, what is the computer? Is it equipment? You know, a lot of times you have a set of books. And here's what I recommend. I recommend you list them separately. Here's an example. When I say list separately, this is what I mean. Take your biggest expenses and list them as separate line items on your tax return. So when you prepare your tax return, there'll usually be there'll be a section for other expenses, and it'll say list them out. Like I would not put computer within, like I would list the computer separately out. So what you could say is, you know, like you could say computer, and you could put one, I think it's like 1263A F or something like that. I think that's the de minimis code. I'll put a caption in the YouTube to confirm that this is correct, but this is how I would list it, like computer, and put this, and then you put the dollar amount, you know, $2,000. And I would list that on your return, and again, in the other deductions. What you do not want to have is, say, other expenses, and then have some, like, you know, lump it, you know, have some big old amount in here and lump it in there. Break it out if you have it. And this is how I do it. This is how I do it on my return, is I literally write computer and then put this in there that flags it as, yes, I'm using this election and I'm writing it off. And again, I will confirm that this is the right tax section that you need to put in there. So again, like, this is what is important, to make sure that you list these properly in your return. And is there a guideline? No, but like if you have some big pieces of equipment, I would definitely list them out. So things like a computer or a cell phone, and I don't know, if you have other like machines or equipment that you're buying, like let's say you bought a 3D printer, you know, list that out separately. List these out. And you know, is it the end of the world if you don't put that in there? No, but you want to make sure that you have all of that included in there, just so that it's very clear on the return, like what was done. So hopefully you got a lot of value out of this video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. But again, use this tip, use this to your advantage on your tax return if you have a side hustle, small business, anything like that. So have a great day, take care, stay out of trouble.